Here we go. Yeah. So for those of you who haven't met me, you don't know me, I'm Neil. I work at Basingstoke Voluntary Action. Been involved with them through the COVID situation, let's call it. As you'll know, there's been a plan to have a community lottery launching for a little while now. So I'm delighted to say that we're in a position now where we can launch it. I need to let you all know that we are recording this event. So if any of you have any issues with that, please let me know. But we're going to record it, and we'd like to think that we can use the content to help any other interested parties who want to get involved. So the lottery's been on the agenda for a little while. September 2020 feels like exactly the right time to be launching it, on the basis that, as you will know from the communities you're involved in, this has been a very difficult time for the charity sector, the last 6 months or so. And this is a fantastic way of hopefully creating simple passive income for all of your causes going forward. We've researched the market because there are a number of different ways that we could deliver this lottery for you. And we've chosen to partner with a company called Gatherwell on the basis that they have a ton of experience of putting together lotteries for local communities such as this one. And I'm sure that Ben, who you'll be seeing shortly, will give you a lot of information around some of their case studies and some of their successes as possible. The point, of course, of partnering with a professional organisation who specialise in this is, of course, to de-risk you and de-risk us for any of the ramifications of putting a lottery plan together. So again, I know Ben will get through that. Through Ben's presentation, it would be helpful if you have any questions, if you could essentially use the chat box. So just send us a message. There'll be a load of time at the end that we can get involved with any questions, Q&As that you have. On the basis that you're all here, I imagine you've all got my contact details as well. So do feel free to email me, call me at some point after the event if you've got any other questions or queries. The key, of course, is to make this a success. So on that basis, we're very keen to make it work with you. So Ben, if you're okay, I will ask you to, well, I'll proceed.
Fantastic. Hopefully you can all hear me. Very delighted to be have this opportunity and be able to take you through a bit of a presentation to explain how the lottery is going to work for you all, and some details about how you can sign yourselves up as good causes. Worth saying that today is all about launching the lottery to you, the good causes of Basingstoke and Deane, and it's very much around launching it at this stage to yourselves, because this is a proposition for the good causes locally. So we want to make sure that you're all up to speed with how it works. We understand people need to potentially go back to committees and do all these other things to understand how you want to sign yourselves up. So we'll explain how it's going to work, and then, as I'll touch on, one of the last slides I've got is some other dates that we'll then have for launching the lottery for everybody to be able to see that. So I've got a presentation I'm going to share. So hopefully, if I now do share screen, you should be able to see all this. So hold on one second. And all right, let's have a go. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, that's good. Right, and then I have to make sure, because I've got a little bit of a video that I'm going to play in this as well, so I have to be able to share my computer sound so that you can hear that. So right, I'm good to go. So I'm going to take you through the presentation then. As was mentioned, if you add any questions or whatever to the chat area, then we can make sure we get those all answered either through the process or at the end. But yeah, let's dive into the detail. Is probably the best thing to do. So he says confidently, and then it doesn't move on. There we go. Right. So introducing the new lottery. So I get the great task really of being able to take you through the lottery and take you through the presentation. And it's worth saying that they obviously Basingstoke Voluntary Action are the ones behind the scene, or have kind of the initiatives coming from, and they're the ones that are launching the lottery to the local good causes and to the residents of Basingstoke and Deane. And they've partnered with ourselves, and we are something called an external lottery management company. So we're licensed by the Gambling Commission to run lotteries on behalf of other people. So we do that for lots of different organizations, lots of kind of bigger charities and such like we do individual lotteries for. But one of the big kind of things that we do is we run community lotteries exactly like this, up and down the country. So we've got about 80 of these community lotteries supporting about 6,500 individual good causes, sort of up and down the country, that are benefiting from lotteries like this. So it's kind of a huge opportunity to see local causes benefit and be able to kind of access lottery funds that I suppose they wouldn't be able to access in be able to set up a lottery themselves necessarily, but can join a platform like this and be able to benefit from the advantages of having a lottery. And the key thing that makes this a good opportunity for yourselves is that it's about a local proposition. It's about local people supporting local causes and making a difference to a local level. And I think that that affiliation that people have with the causes at a local level really kind of makes a big difference. And if through the COVID situation, I think that's become even more evident, that people kind of see the advantages that lots of these organizations have. And with this being a digital platform, it's something that can really work in a time where potentially other fundraising initiatives that you might have been kind of put on hold, or unable to progress because of kind of social distancing and other restrictions that we've all had to live through for the last 6 months or so. So I really have got the kind of joy of taking you through how it works. And what I want to do really is start by talking about how it works for supporters, because understanding how the lottery works from a player's perspective probably gives you an insight in terms of how the overall platform is going to work for everybody. So I'll talk about how it works for supporters. I'll talk about how we split the pound, which gives you a clue as to how much a ticket's going to be. And then I'll talk about prizes, because people play lotteries like this as much as anything to support good causes, but often the chance to win something is one of the motivations to play. And then I'll talk about how it works for good causes, because yourselves as the causes within the local area are the ones that it's going to make a success. So I want to explain how we're going to make life as easy as we can for you, how easy it is for you to sign up. And then we've got, just at the end, I'm going to talk about the kind of commitments of each side, really. So we're obviously launching the lottery for the local area, but if you do sign yourselves up, then we're going to ask a bit of a commitment of you to make it a success. So I'll talk about that as we get to the end. So a fairly busy slide, this one, but I'll kind of walk you through it. So this is how it works for supporters. So what we're going to be doing is asking people to visit the lottery site. So it's bnd communitylottery.co.uk is the URL, and we're going to be asking people to visit that to kind of come along and be able to sign themselves up. And that is going to be a kind of, well, the lottery is a weekly lottery. So it's a online lottery, and we're going to have draws every Saturday at 8 o'clock, because lots of people run lotteries at that time. And the more numbers that people match, the bigger the prizes are going to be. So fairly traditional in that sense. Tickets cost £1 a week, as I kind of touched on, and slightly different to perhaps those of you that have played the National Lottery. So our tickets consist of a 6-digit combination. So every ticket is kind of a 6-digit number, and we're going to be asking people to select a 6-digit number in order to be able to play. Now, people can either choose those numbers themselves, or they can allow the system to do a kind of random generated thing for them, a lucky dip. And the combination is important. So effectively there's 6 digits within that combination. There's a million different combinations that can be chosen. We're going to be asking people to select that. So they could choose their telephone number, or maybe their date of birth. The key thing is that the order of the numbers, the digits within it, are is important, and people can repeat the digits within there. So, people could choose anything from 00000 to 9999999, and they could be a million different combinations that people can choose, and the one that is important to them will allow the system to do it. Now, lots of people run lotteries like that. There's kind of 1 in a million chances, good odds of winning the jackpot, therefore, and that compares differently to the national lottery, where it's 1 in 45 million for winning the jackpot. But the key thing that makes it different is that as part of the gameplay for playing the lottery, they're going to be able to choose who they want to be the major beneficiary of the money that gets raised. So if people play the national lottery, 25% of the money that gets raised goes back to support good causes. But that gets sent into a kind of central pot, and nobody gets to, sort of influence where that goes. Some of it goes to sport, some of it goes to heritage, some of it might have gone to goes to the big lottery fund that some of you might have applied for. But ultimately, someone's making decisions on how that gets allocated out. And as the player, you can't influence where that goes. So for our lottery, this is very much a part of the process. So people are going to be able to choose who they want the money to go to. So as part of their ticket, they'll be able to say, I want the major part of the money to go and support, one of the causes that are on the platform. So that could be yourselves. And they could choose the local scout group or the local football club or cat charity or whoever it might be. And that organization then will be the major beneficiary for that player's element that goes to the good causes. Now, people can choose either a specific cause, or they can choose a central pot, which will be administered by the Basingstoke Voluntary Action. But effectively, the choice is down to them. And I suppose what you want to be doing is trying to influence people to try and buy tickets for your cause. So we'll be creating individual pages on the website for each of them individual causes, and the link is made between the player and the organisation when they buy the ticket from your page, or from the good causes specific page. So the encouragement there is to try and encourage people to visit your page to buy those tickets, because that's where that link is made. Now, when people come to pay, we'll be trying to encourage most people to sign up to a recurring payment plan. So we take payment either on direct debits or on payment cards. And of the other lotteries we're running, about 90% of people will choose to have a recurring payment plan where we take money every month. But we do allow people, if they don't want to have that recurring commitment, to buy blocks of tickets, and they can either buy 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months in a block, and then there's no kind of recurring commitment.
Ben?
Yeah.
Ben, can I there's people I'm getting some calls. There are people in the waiting room because you're host. Can you admit them, please?
Bear with me 1 second. I think I can make you a joint host, which might make more sense because I'm.
Oh yeah, great.
Bear with me 1 second.
Sure. Sorry about this.
No problem. No, maybe I can't make you a joint host.
Okay. Yeah, if you just, I've just got a few missed calls coming in from people who are trying to get on the call.
Okay, right, bear with me. I can't work out where the sorry, folks.
You're trying to find the waiting room.
Yeah, my screen. I think because I'm presenting, it's not giving me all the visibility of everything I would normally get. See waiting room. There we go. I've got it.
Oh, well done.
Admit all. There we go.
Right.
Right.
Thank you. Sorry for breaking your flow.
No, that's fine. I know. Rather have people in and hearing me talk than sat in a waiting room not.
Good.
So hopefully you can all you're all there, right? Okay. So I was just let me just very quickly recap. So I was just explaining how this works for supporters. And the fact that we're going to be asking them to visit the website, that we'll be having draws every Saturday at 8 o'clock. Tickets cost £1 a week and consist of a 6-digit combination. And the key thing that makes this different is that people are going to be able to choose who they want to be the major beneficiary of the money that gets raised. So they're going to be able to choose individual causes or choose to support a central fund, which will be administered by Basingstoke Voluntary Action. And then I was saying that when people come to pay, we're going to be encouraging most people to sign up to a recurring payment plan. So of the other lotteries we run, about 90% of people kind of are paying on a monthly recurring plan. But people that don't want to sign up to that recurring plan can either buy 1, 3, 6 or 12 months in a block. And the key thing I haven't mentioned is that, and it is by design almost, is that we don't allow people to buy an individual 1-week ticket. And that is by design because we want people to kind of have their ongoing commitment to support the organizations that they're signing up to support. And obviously if you give people the easy option of supporting with 1 ticket, they've kind of feel they've done their duty and they've kind of supported your organization. But obviously you then need to kind of encourage them every week, if that was the case, to buy a ticket every week. And we, by making it a recurring plan, you persuade them to sign up once and then hopefully they stay for an extended period of time. And we've got lotteries like this that we've been running for 5 years or so. And there's a big cohort of players who are the ones that originally signed up at the start. And they'll, they're, because of the link with the organizations they're supporting, they tend to stay for a, extended period of time. And obviously that's hugely valuable to yourselves by virtue of the efforts that you go to recruit people. Then, if they stay supporting you for a long time, their returns can be quite significant. So that's how we take payments, so direct debits or card. Now, we used to just say payment card there, actually, but it's quite specifically now debit cards only. The Gambling Commission changed the rules back in April to only allow card payments to come on debit cards and not on credit cards. So people can't pay on a credit card. It's only a debit card that will accept in that instance. Now, when it comes to winning, we've obviously had people sign up and have given us their details to be able to play because they've joined via the website. So we've got their email address and we'll kind of contact them back via email to say, congratulations, you've won. So they don't have to come onto the site and check their numbers or anything like that. We know that they've won, so we'll send them an email. And if they win a cash prize, what we do is we ask them to come and visit the site to claim their win. Now, we do that for 2 reasons. One is if they paid on a card, actually, we need a bank account to be able to pay them back onto. So we ask them to confirm the bank details that they want it paid to. But more importantly, actually, if they, if they've won a cash prize, we want them to have the option to donate their prize back to the cause that they were originally supporting. So we give them that option, and about 10% of people currently donate their prizes back to support the cause that their ticket was associated to. So, there's an opportunity for causes to get, £25 or £250 that players might have had for themselves that they would rather donate back to the cause rather than take the prize themselves. Now, we've had people, no one at the moment has donated a £25,000 jackpot prize back, but we have had people donate as much as £2,000 back to individual causes. So, if they feel particularly passionate about the work that your organisation does, then potentially, there's a nice chance that they might donate something back if they win as well. All right. I went off my screen, so it's not going forward. There we go. Right. So this is how we split the pound. So I mentioned the National Lottery, and I said 25% of the money that gets raised by the National Lottery goes back to support good causes. Well, this is a lottery that is all about supporting good causes. So 60 pence in the pound will go back to support good causes in one way, shape or form. And we're going to be splitting that 60%. So 50 pence will go directly to the cause that the player chooses. So if they chose that local scout group or football club or cat charity, then that organisation would get 50p from that player's ticket. And then 10p from every single ticket will go back to support this central fund. And that's what Basingstoke Voluntary Action will be kind of managing as a pot to kind of work through. Now, I don't think the decisions have been exactly made as to how that pot will be allocated out. And I imagine there's some desire to understand how big it is before they make a very complicated and detailed kind of grant funding process. But I'm sure, you know, as they kind of go through that, they'll make an assessment as to how best to allocate the money. And then 20p in the pound goes back to support prizes. And I think this is, you know, a nice opportunity. And I'll talk about the actual specific prizes in a second in terms of where how the prize structure works. And then, unfortunately, you know, as all these things have, there's some running costs and various things. So we take a service charge from kind of managing the lottery and kind of taking payments and being able to pay you all those good causes and what have you. And HMRC in their wisdom deem that our service charges got some standard rated VAT on it. So there's a few pennies of VAT that make it into the pound as well to do that. But that's just kind of the ways of things, unfortunately, that we all have to manage. So when it comes to prizes, this is the prize structure that we have. So I said it's a 1 in a million chance of winning the jackpot. And if people match their 6-digit combination to the 6-digit combination that's drawn on the Saturday, then they'll win a prize of £25,000. And you can see on the chart there, there's a little asterisk next to that. And the reason for that is that we underwrite this prize using prize insurance. So we insure the risk of somebody winning. And essentially it means that if we have a jackpot winner on week 1, we've got sufficient funds in the pot to be able to pay the prize. And we use prize insurance to do that. And it's kind of commonplace within the industry to kind of insure risks like this. And if you're as lucky as South Kesteven Council were, that have got one of these lotteries, they had a jackpot winner on week 1. So it meant that their winner won £25,000 immediately at that point. Now, because we insure it, it does mean that if we have multiple winners, and one of the lotteries we had a week where we had a couple of winners on the lottery, it means both winners get £25,000. We don't kind of split the prize between winners. It kind of gets that is the prize structure. If your ticket matches those numbers, that's what you get. So it's quite nice, and that kind of flows through all the different prizes. You know, they don't get shared between any of the winners. That's what if your tickets win, then that's the prize you get. So we only insure the jackpot prize just because of the infrequency of those winners. But the rest of them Gatherwell basically underwrite the risk profile so that if we, over an extended period of time, we'd expect a normalized distribution of prizes. So we're happy to underwrite that profile, but it just means the jackpot prize is kind of a little bit less kind of frequent. So therefore it's a bit too variable to want to cover that. But effectively so if you match all 6 numbers in the correct order, then you win £25,000. If you match the first 5 digits in the correct order or the last 5 digits in the correct order, then you can win £2,000. If you get the first 4 or the last 4, it's £250. The first 3 or the last 3 digits in the correct order is £25. And then we've also got 3 free tickets for a 2-number match. So nice chance of winning a prize, 1 in 50 chance, because those odds will end up being additive. So nice chance of winning a prize of one shape or form. And therefore it's a kind of 1 in 50 chance of winning something. But obviously, win or lose, the winners are always the good causes because they're going to get that money that's going to them. And then one of the things that we're also able to do is offer what we call kind of bolt-on prizes. Now, these are additional prizes that we can run over the kind of, over the year. And they're designed to be ones whereby we get kind of, incentivize people to play. So it's kind of about participation and, it's about adding them, giving them the option to join and give them another reason to join over and above the cash prizes that are there. And we haven't, well, we'll kind of look to do those as we go through the thing, and Basingstoke Voluntary Action would obviously be very keen to hear from anyone who might want to donate a bolt-on prize or sponsor a prize. I'm sure the team would love to hear that. So do feel free to pass any details of those on. But one of the things that Gatherwell does is we run a program of these across all the lotteries that we're running, so that everyone's always got a chance to win a prize, and there's always something there that people can potentially get excited to join and be able to be involved in as a result. So there will be a kind of regular cycle of these bolt-on prizes that we'll be running to encourage participation. Right. Apologies, my phone's going off. Very bad practice, should have put that on mute. So I'm going to talk now about how it works for good causes. So again, we're going to be asking you to visit the website to be able to sign up. And there's a whole section of the website that's dedicated to yourselves as kind of good causes. And that's where we'll ask you to join. And applying to join is really simple. It's kind of a few steps, but is a bit of information that obviously we need to be able to kind of make sure that we've got sufficient information to build you your web page on the site as much as anything. So we'll start by asking you to effectively create a user account. So we'll ask you for a bit of information about you as an individual, and you can go on and use that user account to buy tickets and do other things as well yourselves if you wanted to. And then we'll ask you for some information about your cause. So obvious stuff like name and name of your cause and contact details and what have you. And then we'll ask you to complete what I call the marketing blurb. Now, the reason we ask you to do this is we're essentially asking you to pre-populate the page that we're going to put up for you. So here we'll ask you to kind of put in a bit of a message as to why people should support your organization in particular. So what do you do as an organization? How does what you do benefit the people that you support? What you might do with the money that might get raised, those kind of things. So entirely up to you. You can make that as long or as short as you want, but obviously it's kind of your little opportunity to do a sell as to why people should be supporting your organization. And then the final bit of information that we'll ask is for you to provide your logo for your organization. And the reason we ask for that will become pretty apparent, but essentially we want to be able to signpost people to see that their support is going to you directly. So it's useful for that. Now, if you haven't got a logo, don't panic. We can kind of put your name in a colored box, that kind of thing. So we will, we'll find a workaround for that. But obviously, if you have got one, then it obviously benefits to be able to point people to your cause directly. Now, once you've applied, that triggers a process whereby an email comes through to Basingstoke Voluntary Action, and they're going to be the ones that check your organization hits the terms and conditions and hits the criteria by which they're going to allow these causes to join the lottery. And the reason for that is that this is their lottery and not yours. So they want to make sure that it's only bona fide causes that make it onto the site, and they'll just do a bit of due diligence on you to make sure that you are who you say you are and that you qualify. But the qualification criteria is pretty wide and broad. We want as many causes as we can get on there. So it's about being able to demonstrate you benefit local residents and that you're a not-for-profit organisation. You don't have to be a charity. You can be a constituted group. You can be a CIC, whatever kind of hits that criteria. But essentially, it's about wanting to make sure that they've checked and validated that you're being approved. I think by virtue of the fact you've been invited to this event, hopefully you've kind of got a bit of a nod and a wink. You hopefully get through, but I can't promise that. And obviously Neil and the team are going to have to approve you and make sure that you're kind of approved as a good cause through that process. Now it's pretty quick, and they'll hopefully be able to assess your applications pretty quickly. But once we go live with the lottery, then we'll be able to set your cause live on the site, and then that will kind of provide you with some marketing materials and such like to be able to promote the lottery and encourage people to play and come and support you. And once we're up and running and we've got draws happening regularly and people are sort of playing every week, the key thing is that that's going to start to raise some money for your organisations. And rather than us hold on to that for an extended period of time, we want you to get that as soon as you can. So we'll pay you that money once a month. So you can start to rely actually on a reasonably regular income coming from the lottery to be able to, sort of paid into the nominated bank account for your good cause. And as I mentioned, 90% of people will have signed up on recurring payment plans. So you can actually start to rely on that income, because chances are those people will stay for an extended period of time, and you'll be able to kind of rely on the money that's coming to you for that cause. So that will get paid once a month, as I say. So a bit of an example of kind of what a page looks like. So this is my page that I quickly knocked up for you. So this is the Three-Legged Cat Charity. This is for supporting cats with 3 legs and less. And this is the kind of page that we'll create for you. So this is the kind of thing. So you can see the picture where the picture of the cat is. That's where your logo would go. We've got some cues that we've taken from sites like Just Giving. So there's a bit of a totalizer bar. You can set your own target as to how many tickets you've got and how they're making a difference to you. We've got some evidence to show that as people can see how their contribution makes a difference and helps you get to a target, how that can make a difference. So we've got that. The bit where it says about us, this is kind of like the section whereby you can put your sell, really. That's your opportunity to put the marketing blurb in. So that's your bit to put in as much as you want there. And then we've got some other things on there. So next draw dates and how the lottery works and all that kind of detail flows through there as well. And then to make your lives as easy as we possibly can, we've got some materials that we'll be giving to you in a digital format that you can kind of use to help encourage people to sign up. So this is an example from Vale Lottery. So Vale Lottery is a lottery that we run in Buckinghamshire. And you can see this is co-branded with the Vale Lottery logo, but also the Carers Bucks logo. So each of your causes will have your logo, and this gets populated through onto the marketing materials and encourages people to play. Now this is this is a printable version of the materials. So the idea being that you could print this off and maybe put it on a notice board or post it through people's letterboxes to encourage people to play. And it's got things like a QR code on there, which would be to sort of direct people to the specific Carers Bucks webpage on there. And there's a search term and other things that we can do there. And we produce these on a regular basis. So these are kind of designed to be, I don't know why I'm quite showing you a spring one when we're just approaching autumn, but you get the idea. We'll have different ones at different times of the year, with the idea being that people can kind of sign up and be able to support you. Now we produce versions which are printable like this, but there's also ones that you can email out, and they have embedded links that will take you to your page. But there's also versions that you can use to post onto social media, so Facebook and Twitter and such like, and you can use directly to post onto there. So find the one that works for you. Think about your audience and how you think you might best communicate to them. So different versions of the materials, and as I say, updated fairly regularly to keep the marketing materials fresh. Right, so you've heard me waffle on for a bit, so I thought I'd show you a quick video as to how what we call the Good Cause dashboard works, and a bit more information about the lottery. So bear with me 1 second.
So you've signed up as a good cause. Now what do you need to do? Well, you need to let people know about it so they sign up and support your cause. We do all of the boring hard stuff for you, and we even give you tools to promote it, but you need to use them to spread the word. Start shouting from the rooftops and let as many people know as possible. Remember, the more people who know about your lottery page, the more supporters you will get and the more money you will raise. The sky's the limit. Never stop recruiting supporters. Not only do you scoop 50p from every ticket they buy, but they also help spread the word for you. And because people sign up as long-term supporters, you raise 50p from their tickets every week. And it all soon starts adding up. But it won't happen on its own. All you need to do is keep spreading the word. As a good cause, you get your own dashboard, which helps you keep track of how your lottery fund is performing. Download marketing leaflets or even customize them to say what you need to. When you first log into your dashboard, the name of your dashboard will be across the top along with any immediate actions for you to do. You'll also see a chart to show how your tickets are growing. If you click on the supporters button, this will take you to a page where you can see all the details of the people that are supporting your cause. You can use the supporters details to thank supporters or provide updates on how their support is helping. The leaflet button is probably the most important button on your dashboard. Here you will find lots of leaflets that we create especially for your cause. You will find both printable and digital versions with your own logo on. What's more, they're specially tailored for you as they send people straight to your page where they buy tickets for your cause. All you need to do is make sure you use these leaflets to spread the word and watch your funds grow. So, print off as many printable versions and hand them out to as many people as you can. People can even scan the QR code that we put on there for you, which takes their device straight to your page, so they don't need to search for you when they visit the lottery site. Download the digital leaflet and email it to as many people as you know. Your digital leaflets contain a special button which directs them straight to your page, where it only takes a minute to sign up and start raising money for you. What's more, you can even change the text on all of these leaflets using the Customize button, so you can create your own version with a special message, like what the money you raise will be used for. A new leaflet design is available every few months, so you can keep the advertising materials for your lottery page fresh. So remember, your dashboard is your most important tool and provides you with everything you need to enroll your own supporters. We do all of the hard work for you, so all you need to do is shout about your page, spread the word, and watch the money you are raising grow.
So hopefully that gave you a bit of a flavour as to how the dashboard and the information you'll have access to will work. Just one thing that's worth pointing out on that video is it kind of mentions that you can see all the details of the supporters who are supporting your cause, and that's true, but only if they've ticked the box to say that they're happy for those details to be shared. So obviously GDPR and such like means that if they haven't ticked the box, then you don't get to see those details. Right. So as I mentioned, the website is bndcommunitylottery.co.uk. We've worked in partnership with Basingstoke Voluntary Action to build the website and do that. But importantly, the website sits on the platform that we run all the lotteries on. So as we make new technical developments to our platform, all of the sites that sit on that platform benefit from those improvements. So we've got lots of kind of ideas for how we can make the site better and work better for players and for good causes. So as we make technical improvements to the platform, then all of the sites benefit. So it keeps it up to date and make sure that it's kind of constantly refreshed and benefiting from the latest technology and such like. For those of you that are kind of interested, it is something called a PCI compliant site. So this relates to the taking payments online and what have you. So it's all PCI compliant and be able to, get the site gets pen tested and being able to kind of check for security, what have you. As Gatherwell as a business have to go through an independent audit once a year to ensure that our remote technical standards hit a certain level. And that's part of our license that we have from the Gambling Commission. So we have to get that independent audit done. So we can be very confident of our data security and whatnot as well. We host the website in the cloud, so hosted on kind of rack space servers in the cloud. And the advantage of that just means that we can kind of guarantee great uptime for the site, and it's monitored and does all the things that you'd expect a kind of modern website to be done. And it's also something called a responsive website. So for those of you that perhaps don't appreciate this, obviously there's lots of different things that you can visit the website on. So whether that be a PC or a laptop or phone or tablet, lots of different variations on the types of technology that people use nowadays to visit websites. Now, the site is responsive in the sense that it kind of gives you the best iteration of the site for the size of device that you're looking at. So you get a slightly different experience if you're on your mobile than you do on your laptop, but it's the one that's best suited to the size of screen that you're going to be looking at. And that's important increasingly, because we now find about 65% of people will be visiting the site and buying tickets using kind of mobiles and tablets. So it's really important that we have designs that work for those kind of smaller screens that best suited to be able to purchase tickets in that regard. And we've got loads of support for yourselves as causes and for supporters. So we have a dedicated telephone number. So one of the things I haven't really mentioned is whilst obviously it's an online lottery, we do allow people to sign up over the telephone as well. So if you've got players that perhaps haven't got internet capabilities or confident in terms of buying stuff online, feel free to direct them to the telephone number, and we can kind of set people up over the telephone instead. But similarly, if you've got questions yourselves as good causes, if you've got any things that you want to ask the team about, we've got a dedicated support team that's there to help answer any questions that people might have. We'll obviously answer the as the specific lottery, and we can we're able to then help and work both for yourself and for players. So any questions, just feel free to telephone or use the email address, so support@bandcommunitylottery.co.uk. And we've got some dedicated social media accounts. So we've got a Facebook and a Twitter account associated to the lottery. So as people like and we want people to like and share as they buy tickets and be able to get the message out there that that's what they're doing. So we want people to interact on social media as much as anything. But we also use those social media channels to talk about the results are out and those kind of things. We'll make sure people are kind of engaged in that sense. So I've got a slide here that said, what's the role of Basingstoke Voluntary Action? Don't worry, I'm not going to go through the ins and outs of what their complete role is. So just in relation to the lottery, one of the things that they're kind of going to be doing, as I mentioned, is they're going to be making sure that that they approve the good causes that apply to the platform. So they're going to be going through and kind of giving you the once over to make sure that you hit the criteria. Overall, they're responsible for the administration of the lottery and the kind of the making sure it all kind of works. But obviously, we're behind the scenes to help facilitate that. But they've got some overall responsibility for that, and they're there, I guess, as an organisation to help with advice and practical advice around the lottery and how you might think about marketing it and such like. But one of the key things, because they're the license holders for the lottery, they have to tell Basingstoke and Deane Council about the specifics of the draws that take place. Now, we're there to provide them with all the detail of that, but they've got the legal responsibility to tell the council about the detail. Now, the huge advantage to yourselves is that means that you don't have to do any admin associated with the lottery. They're doing all that for you. So there's no kind of telling, that you don't have to explain anything associated with the lottery yourselves. They're doing all of that work and taking that licensing burden on so that you don't have to. So I'm sure that's an advantage to joining, is that there's no admin for yourselves to do other than to shout about the lottery and encourage people to play. And then one of the other key roles that they're going to be playing is to really kind of talk about the lottery, to try and get their PR story out there, to try and encourage people to not necessarily to play, but certainly to be aware that the lottery exists, and they've advised you as good causes that it's there. So they've got a big role to play in terms of overall telling people about the broader concept of the lottery, and in trying to encouraging people to play, but almost they can kind of sign up and be able to specifically identify causes that are local to them and that they want to support. So you can piggyback on the benefit on the central marketing that can be done by BVA. So I thought I'd quickly touch on Vale Lottery. So you saw them featured on the marketing literature, and actually in recent months they've evolved to now become Buckinghamshire Lottery, because the local authorities in Buckinghamshire have all merged together. So they've actually expanded their remit a bit. And I guess they were our first example. So they're a local authority, and they actually did it rather than doing it through the kind of voluntary action group. They actually did it as a local authority themselves, and they were, I guess, coming from the same perspective of seeing that there was some challenges for their community, voluntary and community sector, and wanted to be able to kind of think about how they could positively affect their roles there. We started with 40 good causes, so I think the fact that we've got 30, 40 people on this call to be able to hopefully represent as many causes of that as we had for Vale Lottery is fantastic news at such an early stage. But they've actually now got over 200 causes that have signed up, and they raise annually over £85,000 a year for the good causes that they're supporting. So lots of money being raised to support projects and organisations in Aylesbury Vale area. And what's been great is that we've had kind of lots of feedback from them. And as I mentioned, we've got a big cohort of players who are supporting those organisations that have been there since the start. So it's kind of a very exciting lottery to think, even 5 years on, that we've still got those people playing and supporting, and then new players coming and going. There's a bit of churn of players, but it's one of those things that people are really supporting their local community and supporting local good causes. And I thought I'd just take you through some real life examples, because there's nothing better than kind of a case study to explain how causes can work, and sort of be seen. You might be able to resonate with what you do as an organisation and be able to see. So the first example I've got is a cricket club. So Great Brickhill is a fairly small village in the Aylesbury Vale area, and their cricket club signed up as a cause at the start. They've currently got about 70. In fact, I think they've got slightly more than this. They've got 79 tickets, and they're raising about £2,000 a year for their club as a function of having the lottery. Now, for a small cricket club in a village, that makes a big difference, and they've really spent their money on investing behind their junior coaching. So they've kind of done some stuff to support their junior teams and be able to kind of support that. Now, I asked each of them to give me a top tip as to how they've motivated people to play. And I appreciate not everyone has a bar, and therefore not everyone can offer people a free drink to encourage participation. But that's what they did. And that kind of worked really well for them at the start to get people to sign up. And what I would do is just say, think about how you might adapt that kind of idea. Really think about how you can encourage people to play. And is there something you could offer locally that people could benefit from as a function of supporting your organisation? The next example is Carers Bucks. So Carers Bucks are a kind of a really small independent charity that supports unpaid family carers who live in the Buckinghamshire area. Now they're an organisation that was very focused on delivery of their service, and they didn't necessarily have a big fundraising team or anything like that. So they've currently got 28 tickets. They're raising about £728 a year, as it says there, very precisely. And one of the nice things that they did with their thing is they basically just added the lottery link to their email signatures. So people were signing up as a consequence of some of the emails that they sent out regularly. And the nice thing that they did with the money is that they had within their plan a plan to be able to support these unpaid family carers by having a kind of support group that could come together outside of the actual support they gave in the home and what have you. They could have a support group that could come together, and be able to share their experience and share, the challenges that they were all kind of having and be able to come together and talk about that. So because they could rely on a regular income, that was enough to be able to pay for a venue and some nice teas and coffees and some biscuits and that kind of stuff. And then they were able to kind of fund that support group as a consequence of that regular income. So it was something that was on their plan and that the lottery has been able to facilitate for them. And the next example is another charity. So this is Medical Detection Dogs. And they have dogs that are quite clever in the sense that they do training for these dogs to be able to sniff out various things, including kind of being able to support with kind of cancers and various other things that they're able to smell. But also one of the big focuses they had is about training dogs to support type 1 diabetics with their blood controls. And the dogs kind of act as a support dog and do that role. And they have a website and regularly post to social media and what have you. So they use that as a focus for their lottery, and we're able to encourage people to sign up. And they've been able to, train one of these dogs with the money that's been raised from the lottery. And the final example is a sports and social club. So this is another small village called Brill, and again, signed up at the start. They've got 43 tickets. They raise about just over £1,000 a year, £1,100 a year, and they've invested theirs in their club premises. So they had a kind of a pseudo village hall that this sports and social club represented, and they were able to invest in their premises. And they're what they did for an idea was to just print off some of those marketing materials. They literally walked them around the village and posted them through people's letterboxes, and people signed up as a result to support the organization. So I guess what I wanted to do was just say, look, it doesn't have to be huge in terms of the marketing effort that you put in, but you get out of this what you put into it. So it's one of these that if you put in a bit of effort, then you've got every chance of getting the support that people will, want to support your organization and be able to make a difference to the regular money that you can kind of start to receive from the lottery. So last few slides from me, so you'll be pleased to hear. But effectively, by signing up, we're going to make life as easy as we possibly can for you. We've got, you'll have your own dedicated web page on the site. You'll get access to those marketing materials, a dashboard so you can see who's supporting you and kind of how your campaigns are going. Lots of information that we'll provide with you at the start to make life as easy as we can. And you also get kind of regular emails from the system to be able to see, who's supporting you and what have you as well. And I suppose most importantly, you'll get 50p of every ticket, or 50% of every ticket sold from your page gets paid into your nominated bank account every month. So that's I guess the big win is that you can a good chance to raise some serious money. And we're going to ask you in return, if you do sign yourselves up, to kind of commit yourselves to the project. And what we'd like to do is challenge you to try and get to 20 tickets within 4 weeks of your good cause, your cause going live on the site. Now, to give that some context, 20 tickets is a number that we've kind of, we've not quite plucked from the air, but it's a challenge to get to just because it benefits you. It's not one that we're going to, if you only get to 17 tickets, we'll kick you off the platform or anything like that. This is a challenge for you to get 20 tickets, because if you can get to 20 tickets, that will be worth for you £520 a year for your organization. I'm sure you can all think of ways to spend £520. So it's, and there's no limit to that. Don't feel that you only have to get to 20 tickets. Obviously, if you want to go above that, that's more than possible, and lots of causes are doing that. The reason we say that is for your benefit. It's a number that makes a worthwhile difference and is worth going for. But to give 20 tickets some context, on average, we get between 1.8 and 2 tickets per player across the different lotteries we're running. So actually, we're talking about signing up 10 to 12 people. If you can sign up 10 to 12 people, hopefully they'll stay with you for the long term, and then that would be worth £520 a year for your organisation. So definitely a worthwhile challenge to go for. The next ones then are really for everyone's benefit, really. So it says there, have a staffed email address. I used to say a manned email address, and I got told off for one of these presentations for being sexist. But have somebody at the end of the email is really what I want there. And the reason we say that is it's really important. We use email a lot as our kind of way to communicate with you, to talk to you, and be able to tell you how you're doing and all those sort of things. So it's quite an important thing to have an email address. Now, I don't care whether that's your personal email address, the work email address, the email address for your good cause, whatever. I don't really care. Just have someone at the end of it, and don't feel this is just one person has to take responsibility for your organization. You can have multiple administrators for your good cause. So do feel free to share it about, and make sure that everyone's got a vested interest in supporting it. Obviously, one person will have to take the lead on initially setting it up, but once you've got that set up, you can have multiple administrators for your good cause. And then what I ask is really that you use the dashboard. It's there as a tool to be able to kind of support you. You can track your own performance. It's where the marketing materials are kind of stored and you can download. But it's also where you upload the bank details for your good cause. So quite an important place to go and visit at some point to be able to get the money paid to you. But it's also where you can update your good cause message. It's where you can kind of update that on a regular basis if you want to. It's where you can change the target that you can set. So, you know, it's a place for you to think about, working with and being able to support your organization. And then the final two requests really are help us to help you. As Gatherwell as a business is kind of, as I mentioned, making lots of technical developments to the platform. So if you've got ideas, if you've got features that you would like to see built into the site, then let us know what they are, because actually the best ideas come from good causes, we found. And, if you've got some ideas, then do let us know. We'd love to kind of think about how we can build those into the platform. I can't promise we can do it immediately or that we can even do it at all. But, if people have got ideas, then it's, better to share, and then we can hopefully make improvements for everybody. And then the final request is, I'm sure one that Neil would kind of endorse, is help us spread the word. This is very much around a lottery for the local area. I'm sure you've all got lots of contacts and other organisations that you maybe think this could be appropriate for. Do spread the word and let them know that this is something that's open to all the good causes. And we want to make this as big an opportunity as we can. So help us spread the word around and let people know that this is something that's coming to the local area. Final chart is one just about some dates really. So as I mentioned, today's about launching to yourselves as good causes. What we want to do is give you plenty of time to go away, potentially talk to committees and say, are you going to sign yourselves up, and give you time to go and visit the website and get your applications in. So we're going to give you effectively until the 20th of October, but there's no actual end date to that. You can sign yourself up at any point in time. Obviously, there's a huge advantage to signing yourself up before tickets go live, because then everyone kind of, you'll benefit from the wave of publicity that no doubt is going to come washing down the road to be able to support. But yeah, there's no kind of time, there's no actual time limit to when you sign up. But that's when we're going to open the site to players, and we'll allow people to sign up, and we'll essentially keep all the good causes in a metaphorical holding pen, and we'll kind of release everybody at the same time, and we'll say, everyone can join at the same time and be able to promote it to players at the same time. So we'll give you all the access to the marketing materials and all that sort of stuff at the same time. So from the 20th of October, and that's when players will be able to sign up. Now, once players have signed up, we won't actually have a first draw until the 28th of November, because we want to give everyone time to build some critical mass before we have that first draw. So we'll give everyone plenty of time to sign up to play. So the first draw will then take place on the 28th of November. So that was the dates. I think the next slide says questions. Has anyone got any questions? Now,
Are you able to send out the PowerPoint?
yeah, absolutely. We can send that out.
I need to share it with my colleagues who weren't able to attend today, so that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Thank you.
I'll share that with Neil. We've got a version so my version's got that embedded video in it. So we'll send out a version that doesn't have that, but that video is actually available on the website. So, maybe go to the website and you'll be able to see that.
Can you also send the link to the website?
Yep, by all means.
Thank you.
Hi Ben, there's a question from Helen here saying, can an individual support more than one cause?
Yes, they can. So what we have is a one ticket, one cause relationship. So people can have one ticket and support one cause. They can have multiple tickets and support one cause, or they could have multiple tickets and support multiple causes. What you can't have is one ticket and support multiple causes. So they're the different options. But yeah, lots of, and there's no, obviously we want people to sign up and be able to support. So yeah, people can have multiple tickets if they want as well.
Okay, thanks. Another question here from Gary. Can we claim gift aid on the donation?
So yes, on the donation, effectively that would be the same as if someone had taken the cash themselves and then donated it. So yes, you would be able to claim gift aid on that. Unfortunately, lottery tickets themselves aren't appropriate for gift aid because it's a purchase of a game of chance, so therefore they're purchasing something, so it's not attributable to gift aid. We have looked into that and challenged various people on whether that was appropriate, but no, that's the stance that is taken on that. So, but the actual element that's gifted, if that was a kind of prize that they won and then gifted to you, yes, that would be appropriate for gift aid.
Okay, cool. There we go. So we've got Louise is signing. To let you know, great. Thanks. While we're on, thanks so much. That's really straightforward. We weren't drowned in questions from the audience, which would indicate that you're quite good at this.
I have one, please.
Yeah, of course.
Hi, sorry guys, I missed the beginning. We were concerned about people signing up. Obviously, it's gambling. We know it's for a good cause, but it's gambling. What was the minimum term? I think I just joined in as you were talking about. Do they have they pay monthly? Do they? There's no other option of like a one-off donation.
So people can. So what you can't do is buy one week's ticket. Effectively, is the thing. So you can either sign up on a recurring payment plan.
Yes.
So either by direct debit or on debit card. And that'll be a monthly recurring payment plan. Or you can buy a block of tickets for a set period of time, but the minimum for that is a month. Okay. So, or 5 weeks in that instance. So 5 weeks or 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. But then there's no recurring kind of commitment. So what you can't do is buy one individual ticket for £1.
Sure.
And as I was saying, that is by design because we want people to, we want to encourage people to sign up to the lowest common denominator, which is the kind of monthly recurring plan.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great. Cheers.
Thanks, Ellen. Another question from Gary. When is the first payment taken for the November draw?
So it depends on how people are paying. If it's a direct debit, we will set their direct debit up to take the payment that's nearest to the first draw. So we take payments on the 1st, 7th, 21st and 28th of the month. So I can't remember what I said. When did I say the first draw was? I've already forgotten this. It was the slide before. Yeah. So the 28th of November. So probably that means we would take payment for most direct debits on the 21st of November to be included in that draw on the 28th. So that would be if they pay by direct debit. If they pay on their card, just because of the way that the card transactions work, we have to take payment at that point in time. So if people pay on their card, we would take payment immediately. But obviously, the recurring element of that wouldn't happen until, the 28th of December. We would then take the recurring payment.
Okay, great, thanks. Anybody else while we've got Ben available?
No.
No. Fantastic. Thank you, Ben. That's really helpful. On a personal note, I'm working with BBA to make this successful. I've set myself a personal goal of helping the volume of causes that join up to generate £1,000 worth of ticket sales per week. So here we go. So if you need any help, any support on setting up your pages, on promotional materials that you've seen, just call me, drop me an email. I'm more than happy to give you a hand so we can all move towards what I hope will be a very achievable goal. Okay, so if I wrap up now and just say thank you to you all. I think as host, Ben, you may need to ultimately end the meeting.
Okay.
But as I say, thank you all for coming. So please do get in touch, contact me via mobile or email. And as soon as we've got the bits and bobs through from Ben, I'll be sharing it with those of you that came along today. So look forward to being in touch.